If you could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. And begin. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I would just like a moment of silence for the 3 LA County Sheriff's deputies that were killed in the blast this last week. Seated. Roll call, please.
Councilmember De La Rosa?
Here.
Councilmember Ponce?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Lavelle?
Here.
Mayor Marshall?
Here.
And City Council Member Schickling will not be in attendance today.
Oral communications. This is an opportunity for people in the audience to speak on items that are not on the agenda. You will be limited to 2 minutes and no action will be taken. General business.
Oh, I'm sorry. Before, I would like to announce that we did receive one written communication regarding item 1, advance payment of Measure C funds to the Catalina Island Medical Center, CIMC. Copies have been made and forwarded to the City Council. The original is filed in the City Clerk's office.
Thank you.
All right, good evening, Mayor, City Council. General business item number 1, the Catalina Island Medical Center has asked City Council to approve execution of an agreement to provide an advance payment of approximately $1,106,450 from the city's general fund so that CIMC can participate in a Medicaid program to receive a substantial increase in funding.
Excellent.
And tonight we have, I believe, Scott on the line.
Yes,
Scott, are you with us?
I'm online, as well as Leanne Hapte, who is the head of our healthcare practice group, and she's going to walk you through this transaction. If you recall, about 4 months ago, you authorized us to seek up to $3 million from approval from the state for this loan program. The state authorized about $1 million. And so that's about a third of what we had asked for. And Leanne will walk you through this transactions, and then we'll be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Excellent. Okay, welcome aboard, Leanne.
Thank you. Okay, so the actions that are in the staff report today are 3. 1, to approve the intergovernmental transfer agreement with the Department of Healthcare Services, which obligates the city to make a transfer to DHCS in the amount of approximately $1,106,450. This amount includes an administrative fee on the IGT amount and is subject to reconciliation by DHCS. Secondly, we ask that the second item is approval of the transfer of the $1,106,450 to DHCS on or before November 1st, 2025. And then the third item is to approve an advance payment agreement with CIMC, which would allow the city to offset the amount of the IGT transfer, which I just described, with and the city attorney fees incurred in connection with the advance payment and certain administrative fees through Measure C funds and other available and permissible CIMC revenues. So with regards to the advance payment to Catalina Island Medical Center, the agreement is for a term of 18 months. It includes, as I mentioned, the funds would be paid first through an offset of Measure C funds, which would begin on April 1st, 2026, and continue until the amount is fully recouped. If, for example, the amount of Measure C funds recouped during that 18 period did not equal the the $1,106,450 amount, then the city would have the right to obtain that funding from any other permissible funding source from Catalina Island Medical Center. The agreement acknowledges that the Department of Healthcare Services has a right to reconcile the amount, the amount of the intergovernmental transfer at any time during a 3-year period. And if that amount is reconciled, Catalina Island, the city will make the appropriate adjustment, and Catalina Island Medical Center will also be responsible for payment of any such adjustments if required. The agreement with Catalina Island Medical Center also includes, of course, payment of the 20% administrative fee that the city must transfer to the state. It also includes direct payment of any attorney fees that the city has incurred in preparing for and implementing this IGT transfer. As noted in the staff report, there are also a number of provisions in the agreement that are protective to the city, which include covenants to restrict any sale or lease of hospital or change of ownership without consent, requirements for monthly meetings between the city and hospital managers regarding the status of future plans of the hospital, and detailed financial reporting requirements from CIMC to the city. Do you have any questions?
Not right now. I want to ask if our finance director would like to make any comments.
Not unless there's any questions. I think the staff report lays out the facts and the information.
And of the CIMC staff, do you all seem to be in full agreement with the way everything is written, or do you have any issues with what's presented?
Well, first off, I'd like to thank you again. Back in, it was either April or May when you agreed to do the letter of intent. So thank you for that, and thank you for considering it now. And no, we've seen all the documents, and they all make sense to us. They seem very, very reasonable and easy to comply with.
Questions? Comments?
I think I'm in support of this. I think the move to do this right now, especially given the budget that's come down from Washington recently, is worrisome for rural hospitals at best. And I think in doing this, I know that the hospital has received funds from the county as well, and hopefully that becomes an ongoing thing. But I think that in doing this, we're reaching for funds that are available to help benefit the city prior to most hospitals even being able to understand what they're going to need. So in that aspect, I'm all in favor of it. We did receive some questions from the community, and I just wanted to touch base on some of those. I did discuss some of those with council prior to the meeting today. So there was a question regarding the need potentially to have, if there was some kind of insolvency with the hospital, to have some kind of lien on property. And Scott, I don't know if you can speak to that, but basically because these are sales tax funds that are coming in that were approved by the voter, those sales tax funds remain coming in not long enough to pay for all of the funds back into the account again. There's not a necessary reason to look at having to preset properties as lien conditions if there was something to default, correct?
Yeah, that is correct. The agreement provides that the sales tax that was passed by the city 24 years ago is an ongoing sales tax. It doesn't terminate. And so we have the right for the proceeds of that. We believe that based upon the current sales tax that'll be paid within 18 months. If not, we can continue to collect the tax, or we can, the hospital can write us a check from other sources. We automatically, frankly, have a lien because of our lease on the property. and the hospital pursuant to this agreement and the original lease, they have to seek city approval if they're loaning against the hospital property. This also gives us greater rights and access to financial documents than the current lease, and as well as those monthly meetings with the city manager. So we believe that, one, this protects the city. It provides the opportunity for the hospital to get some badly needing financing, and the risks are minimal, and that we are protected.
And then there was a question also from the community about if, how the funds were limited in use. I think there were some people who were concerned about the possibility of where the funds are being spent. These specifically, if you can kind of go through the detail, just are meant to be serving, I believe it's Medi-Cal and through LA Care, those types of funds only, and not outside administrative funds. Is that right?
Leanne can speak to that. I believe that these funds are, what it is the state matches, no, the federal government will match these funds by a multiplier, and then these funds are used for the general use of the hospital.
Right. So it is through the voluntary rate range program. So what happens is that the IGT transfer goes to the state. It's matched by federal funds. That increased dollar amount is then provided to, in this case, LA Care Health Plan, because the hospital contracts with LA Care Plan to serve Medi-Cal members at that CIMC. And those additional dollars that LA Care Health Plan receives go directly to as a transfer, subsequent transfer back to CIMC. And those funds can be used for to support patient care and administrative expenses of the hospital.
Okay. Thank you. And Tim, you wanted a question or comment?
Please.
Just one, as Scott mentioned, it was $3 million. It was actually $2.8 million and the way we came up with that number that was asked for from us by DHCS was to document the amount of uncompensated costs that we had delivering Medi-Cal care from 2 years ago. So this is just arrears, repayment of lost funds that we expended providing services to Medi-Cal patients 2 years ago. So it has nothing to do with how we're going to spend it going forward or anything. So so we've lost 2.8 million, and they're allowing us to send up the 900,000, and match it and all the rest of the IGT.
Oh, okay.
Question. And so given the potential changes that are going to happen on the coverage for Medi-Cal, are you guys doing or going to be doing like a risk analysis on that, how that's going to impact us in the future financially?
It's interesting. That's been our biggest problem, is how low our reimbursement has already been. And we always, for example, compare ourselves to other critical access hospitals throughout the state of California. As I mentioned earlier, there's, I'm going to go with 36 critical access care access hospitals, 16 of which are part of systems, larger systems, and so they get a overhead cost allocation that helps fund them. The average overhead cost allocation statewide is $15 million, which they get maybe half of that back through Medicare. The other 16 hospitals are tax district hospitals, and some of those in hospitals of our size get anywhere from $6 to $9 million a year in supplemental funds, and they still additionally get to do IGT. So IGT is just one of the mechanisms to recoup your Medi-Cal reimbursement, but they also have plenty of other supplemental payments. I say all that because there's 2 hospitals in the state of California that are not part of a system or a tax district hospital, and it's us and Ridgecrest. And so we are used to not getting any of that reimbursement through overhead cost allocation or from all the supplemental programs or IGTs. So it's not going to change much for us. on a financial standpoint. I mean, at the moment we get 4 cents a dollar, if they cut it in half and we only get 2 cents a dollar, it's not going to rock our world, right? Now for the community, it's going to be a very bad thing because they're going to end up coming to the emergency room for basic care. And so that's what's going to change. And a lot of people will probably put off their care. So from a healthcare standpoint, it's very bad for the community. But from a financial standpoint, the big bill is not changing our financial situation.
Thank you.
Yeah. That's a long answer.
It was clear, though. I appreciate it. I was able to follow. Thank you.
And then the only other question I had, Scott, was just on Section 8, C2 for the Covenants of Medical Center. The request, the election of city council to ask for financial statements from the medical center, from Catalina Island Health. Is that something that you need to be aware of now that we want to do, or was that going to be discussed at a future meeting? Or Scott, Jocelyn, I guess you can answer that too.
The city manager can ask for that at any time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we don't need council action for that.
Okay.
And then we can just provide that.
Okay.
It'll be part of, I assume Dave will ask for it as part of his monthly meetings.
Do we want to ask that other question about member of the board of directors? Just
Oh, yeah.
So there.
City's sake, yeah.
Yeah, so there's a suggestion if the city council can appoint somebody to be on the board of directors of the hospital and talk to that, because I know you chatted with Lisa about that a little bit.
Yeah, our thoughts on that were that I don't know if the hospital would agree to that. And in our discussions, we thought that could increase liability to the city if we were part of that. It would also have conflict of interest issues. We thought that there are provisions in this agreement and in the lease which actually give the city input that maybe a member of the board of directors could not have. And also there are restrictions in this agreement as to what the hospital can do with its property, and they do have to seek our approval on certain things. So we do have veto rights on certain options if the hospital wants to do things where an individual board member would not. So this agreement actually gives the city greater protection than just the seat on the board. Without exposing us to liability for being a board member.
All right. Do we have any more questions of Leanne or either members of council, meaning legal counsel? Okay. Okay, council, what's your pleasure? First of all, is there any other comments? No? Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the intergovernmental transfer IGT agreement with the Department of Health Care Services, DHCS, which obligates the city to make an IGT transfer in the amount of approximately $1,106,450, including the DHCS administrative fee described below, and subject to reconciliation by DHCS for Catalina Island Medical Center's CIMC participation in the Voluntary Rate Range Intergovernmental Transfer Program, which CIMC believes will result in increased funding for CIMC. Approved transfer of approximately $1,106,450 to DHCS on or before November 21st, 2025 in accordance with the IGT agreement. 3, approve an advance payment agreement with CIMC whereby CIMC would allow the city to offset the amount of the IGT transfer of $1,106,450 plus city attorney fees incurred in connection with the advance payment and certain administrative and lost opportunity fees through Measure C funds. And if necessary, any other available and permissible CIMC revenues over the course of the 18 months.
I'll second.
There's a motion, a second. Call for the vote.
Four ayes, one absent. Councilmember Schickling.
Fantastic. Scott, are you still on?
Yes, I am.
Okay, this is a personal comment, personal aside. Are you getting ready, you look all clean shaven and everything, are you getting ready to go to your son's wedding?
Yes, I'm taking off a week. In 6 days, I'll be traveling to Utah for my son's wedding. Yes.
Okay, we'll wish you all the luck and happiness. But anyway, if there's no further comments, meeting adjourned.